Welcome to our International English Language Testing System. So, I'm your examiner today. I'm Afifa, and my examen ID is 62496. And so, could you please show me your passport?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay. What's your full name?
I'm Marakta Shifa, and you can call me Shifa.
And what's your where are you from?
I was born in Chattogram, but I live in Dhaka for my study.
Okay. And then, so our language test is divided into three parts. So I'm starting the part one. In part one, I'm going to ask you some questions about food and cooking. So our first question is, what kind of food do you like to eat?
I like to eat balanced diet, such as milk, meat, fresh fruits, raw vegetables. It is because we need energy to keep ourselves strong.
Okay, then let's move into the next question. What kind of new food would you like to try and why?
I like to try Mexican foods and Italian foods because I never ate it.
Okay. Do you like cooking? Why or why not?
Yes, I like cooking because I think cooking is also an art where we have to work with flavors of food.
Okay, what was the last meal you cooked?
I cooked some noodles for myself.
Okay, do you like home cooked food or food from the restaurants and why?
Obviously, I prefer home cooked food because when we prepare food in our home, we can prepare it with utmost care. But in restaurant, we don't know how they prepare it for us, and uh, the one can't afford it. Sometimes it can be unhealthy for us.
Okay, so the first part of our language test is ends here. So in the second part, I'm gonna give you a question. You have 2 minutes time for thinking about it, and you're gonna answer it after 2 minutes. Here's your question.
Well, my favorite hobby is working out. Ever since I realized that working out makes my body strong, I decided to bodybuilding and I started exercising when I was 9. Um, Exercising has many benefits like during exercise our brain supplies more oxygen to our body and it helps us to lose fat, but exercise should determine according to the person's age.
So let's move to the part three. So in part three, I'm gonna ask you some questions about the social benefits of hobbies. So our part three have two topics. So it's the first one about hobbies. Do you think having a hobby is good for people's social life and what way?
Yes, I think hobby is very important for a person because people works all day long harder and to relieve their tiredness they have to spend some time on their hobby.
Okay. Are there any negative effects of a person spending too much time on their hobby? What are they?
Yes, if a person spends too much time on his hobby, it can prevent him from his essential work, and sometimes it can be addictive, and this is very harmful for him.
Okay. What do you think people need to have an interest or hobby? Why do you think?
Mm, I think all people need hobby for them because all the people work all day long and to remove the monotony of their life, they have to spend some time on their hobby. On the other hand, sometimes hobby bring out the latent talent and it proves their worth.
So let's move to the second topic of our part three. In the second topic, the topic is leisure time. So, in your country, how much time do people spend on work and how much time on leisure? Is this a good balance, do you think?
spending time on people's hobby is dependent on people's working style. As a children, they have so many time uh, for for their hobby, but for an adult, they sometimes they don't have time to spend on their hobby, so they have to balance time for spending on their hobby and their essential work.
Okay. So, would you say the amount of free time has changed much in the last 50 years?
Yes, it has been changed because in some countries technology has been improved, so they don't have to work harder, and they have so many time to fulfill their hobbies. But in some developing countries like Bangladesh, so the people don't have so many time for their hobby because they have to work hard all day long for day labor, a rickshaw puller, farmers, this kind of person.
Do you think people will have more or less free time in the future? Why?
I think people will have more free time in future because technologies are developing. For the developing of technology, people will have more time for their hobby because technology will them with help them with their work.
Thank you. So, our language testing, international language testing system ends here.